Alright, hello everyone. System Chalk here with, I believe, the 9th episode of the Cultist Simulator Apostle Obsonate run with Ike Upscribe. As always, if you'd like to be alerted as to this stuff, feel free to put a follow on the channel and hit the little bell beside it. And if you like the videos, feel free to leave a like, and I've been delighted by your comments, so thank you very much for that. Now, I've been running into some problems in terms of being able to record these things on time. It'll still be at least once a week coming up, but it's been a little while since I've been able to look at this board again. So if memory serves, we successfully did a couple of expeditions. Strathcoyne's residence is going to be a little hard for us because we need to somehow deal with the Guardians. Although with Sylvia and Yzabet, we should be able to deceive them now. Of course, we can always use force as well. If I want to be going to Strathcoyne's, I will also need money to head in there, although I don't think that should be a problem because there should only be one obstacle. I need to spend for my painting, so that'll be taken care of. And do we have any other emergencies? I believe it seems to me that we don't have any evidence after us. We are currently finding out what's going on with our pursuer. We're not using our talk verb right now, so I should take a look and see maybe if there's, we could maybe convert some hangers-on into pawns, or maybe we'll hang on to them for a little while so that we can convert undesirable influences in their ceremony. And then the dream slot is open right now, so I do have some passion that's available. I suppose I should be considering whether or not I want to basically where I want to be going in the Mansis. Let's go through the Way of the Wood. So we'll start with that. I'm going to wait a little while before I use the talk verb. So what I'm going to do with the talk verb is try and get some more bodies into the cult. I'm going to wait a little while, though, just so that actually, you know what? This passion will become available before then, so I don't need to worry about that. Let's talk about the furtive truth. So we'll get So the problem here that I was trying to anticipate was this particular passion is going to get pulled out if I run into another potential cult follower. So the one drawback about this is that I'm going to need to be rather careful. I'm going to have about 6 seconds in which to restore this passion, but otherwise we should be okay there. We're going to run out of the Savorous blood in a little while, I believe. Right. So the delightful blood needs to be auctioned off. This delightful blood will last us, and we should be able to cure ourselves. So overall, we're in a decent spot. Let's load up for Strathcoyne's. I'm going to go all in on deceiving the Guardians, and we'll put one funds in anticipation. So the House of Mr. Strathcoyne, a collector of rare objects. Strathcoyne will not sell his treasures, but a sufficiently cunning accomplice might gain entry. Mr. Strathcoyne has forbidden entry into his library. Unfortunate. Let's see what we can do. If you hadn't done Strathcoyne's residence before, you might want to bring moth followers, simply just because you know that you're going to be burgling a place, and so that tends to be a bit of a moth thing to do. You don't see lantern cultists sneaking into people's houses, so we will let this run down. I pretty much need to go to Glover and Glover after this painting, but that was probably going to be the plan anyway because I am running short on money. All conviction, the world goes away. Now, I don't actually expect that much money out of this. This is really more about getting rid of staleness, but I did put the money into the painting in hopes that I might be able to get something of a return. Let's see if that turned out. The shape of the long strategy is becoming clear. So we don't have a clear thought on that. The recent work has drawn some attention. Maybe something should sell. So we got the money for the paints back, and that looks like all we really got. But we do have some contentment. We've got a fair amount of glimmering to show for our work. We've got Eldridge in case somebody needs to be stabbed. Nope. Looks like we did get... I wonder why the funds was in there then. Anyways, so I'm up 2 funds. Can't complain about that. we are also down a staleness, which is nice. So let's take a second. We'll go back to Glover and Glover again. We're still keeping the junior position just because I want the flexibility of the hours. And let's see what we're up against. I've given my agents the opportunity to serve. Let us hope this ends well for us all. Watchers, mortals, perhaps even ordinary mortals, but quite a number of them. They can be fought, seduced, or deceived. So, of course, we don't have any Grail followers, or sorry, we don't have any Grail, followers or disciples. So I wouldn't expect much in the way of a fight. Or say, we wouldn't expect any seduction, but we should be okay with a fight. It is rather amusing, of course, that we have the Order of the Bloody Cup. We're in service to Paul Samuelson, who is our delight. But we haven't actually been able to bring in any of the main Grail folks. Exercise the mind, wiser. Knowledge is a city wall built stone by stone. But what waits in the darkness beyond the walls? Why would we need a fortress except that we had something to fear? Okay, so I do need to worry a little bit about the notoriety that's coming up. Let's take a minute here. I will take this passion out. I'll put the fresh passion in. Actually, I guess it wouldn't really matter because this will get picked up automatically. No matter. Definitely don't want buzzing in the brain. That's going to produce a restlessness, and while I can paint away the restlessness, I'd rather not have the possibility of getting a dread. So we either go to the well or the Temple of the Wheel. Let's try the well. Okay, a rumor. This will be a little hard to deal with because it's going to produce a notoriety. On the other hand, I know I'm already going to have to deal with a notoriety. More importantly, I know I'm going to have to deal with the evidence that comes out of having a notoriety. So maybe I just want to embrace my reputation, be up the follower for it, and just find ways of dealing with the evidence. I'll need to think about that a little bit. So many things rise from the well in the wood. Last night it was a swarm with wormy roots. The trees clustered and whispered. Perhaps they were welcoming the influx. I found a sleeping soul ensnared in the roots. I helped them struggle free, and when they wake, they will recall my face as I do theirs. So there's nothing saying I have to use the peculiar rumor, which is, this might lead me to someone I need, or it might mean something else entirely. Explore with the rumor to follow up on it. Oh, actually, I guess this is a moot point because we've already signed everyone on for the expedition. So, against the Watchers, a powerful deception. Look closer, closer still, closer. Keep looking, closer. Now close your eyes. Although I should, well, I don't have any passion to go through the, well, that's not entirely true. If I want to go back to the wood, I can start that now and just wait for one of the passion to come back. So I don't need to worry about the notoriety that will come from the peculiar rumor. I just simply don't have the capacity to use it right now. We got a little money back from Glover and Glover, so the question now is what I want to do with it. I could try and do another painting. I would prefer to have a little more passion to throw at it, though. So I think I'm just going to go back to G&G. Although, come to think of it, the day laborer would have been a better choice because it costs me less in terms of time. All right, trembling in the air. The sun flickers like a shadow, dreams ripple behind the surface of mirrors. I must be careful not to drift from the waking world. Fascination may provoke visions. I've reordered the boundaries of my ignorance. I have learnt enough to know how little I know. Use with 3 lessons learnt to gain more reason. So we're doing all right for reason now. We've got about as much as we do. I guess I have one more passion. But I do still have, so I can technically combine these glimmerings. You know what? Let's turn them into a lesson learned. I may be able to generate a little bit more glimmering through more painting. I am going to need a fairly large number of lessons learned, though, so I don't have too much in the way of expectations for how that's going to turn out. Come with me. And we have yet another hanger-on. It's not exactly the stuff that I'm looking for, but we'll work with what we've got. So I've got a couple things to do. In terms of the study verb, I do really want to be working through these books, but as it happens, I had the glimmering, I had a way of preserving it, so I'll stick with that. I am going to try and convert some of my passion into a removal of staleness and another glimmering before this expires. And so the question now is, what do I want to do with my talk verb? Do I want to try and bring these hangers on into the cult, or do I want to try and do something else? And in this case, I think we're just going to use the furtive truth to try and bring another cultist in. There's not an infinite number of hangers-on, so at some point we will get someone who's got abilities that we want. The scratching of pens, the sourness of dust, the sighing of the younger Glover, and the greedy gurgling of the old elder. Sorry, it's been a long day. I'm stumbling over my words. All right, so I'm going to generate a notoriety from the expedition. I've got 2 notoriety on the deck, 2 mystique. I think this is a little too much notoriety for me to deal with, especially when I've got my moth followers on an expedition. So let's go to the Temple of the Wheel this time. We missed out on the furtive truth, and we've got a subtle flaw. Laces uncoil, windows swing open, locks move as if oiled. A second order influence apparent to the perceptive, instantly recognizable to an adept. This can be used in some rites to summon minions. Last night I came in the wood to the high jagged rock called the Temple of the Wheel, its flank perched with black lichen and eye signs opened like a mouth beneath my hands, and I walked in the whispering space within. The gods who were stone, the first of the hours, are almost gone now, but here their voices remain, Wheel, Flint, Tide, and the others without names. So we won't be using the subtle flaw, but it's nice to know, nice to know we can get one if we need. Their bewilderment is our opportunity. We'll pass in silent secrecy. Treasures lie before us. We'll be picking up the goodies soon. The long plan revealed dreams. Our enemy will find us through the Mansus this time. So if we want to try and deal with starlight attacks, I need Moth or Winter. Unfortunately, we do not have any Winter disciples available. So looks like we're just going to have to take it on the chin here. Fortunately, in 0.6 seconds, we won't have to worry about the Season of Visions. So, at this point, I think as much as I'd like to work as a day laborer, I want to throw some passion at my problems. Let's take the 31-second notoriety. So the idea here is that in 50 seconds, if we're going to have to deal with notoriety, the long-lasting one is going to get taken up. This one has a shorter shelf life, and so if I preserve it, that technically means that there's 2 notoriety off the board. We're still going to have to deal with the one that we get from the expedition, but this is just a little way that I might be able to try and have fewer problems sort of breathing down my neck. If I want to use the dream verb, I also should be... actually, I'm going to run into some problems with the delightful blood soon, I think. I got a way of dealing with it, but I didn't plan this out properly. You never know, this might be a living. So what inspiration do I want? I've got 20 seconds to decide, so I'm going to have to... You know what? So I could do the subtle flaw. Unfortunately, I believe this will... Well, does this count as lore? No, we'll do a mood piece. Let's see whether or not that does what I think it does. At a certain angle, my thoughts reflect Mansus light. Our enemy seeks to learn that angle. Oops. All right. Mirrors are calm, the sun is steady, the glory recedes. I'm sane if that means anything. No fascination drives your visions. It's over for now. Okay, so just reorganizing everything after blowing it up. Our enemies searched Mansus halls for a glint of reflected thoughts and found nothing. Okay, so I got a bit lucky there. I'll have to take Slee out and put him back in. So yes, because of 19 seconds, we are not going to... this is probably going to turn into dread, I think. Strathcoyne's cozy sanctum. A fire smolders in the grate. Glass cases display hard-won trinkets. We must seize what we can quickly. Strathcoyne may have already telephoned the police. So I'll have to go to Glover and Glover, then we'll use the hardened physique so that I can get the I can get the, I can heal myself. I could also study with health, but I've got other things that I want to use the study verb for. So feed my imagination. There are more windows in my soul, but sunlight is not the only thing that passes through a window. I've got 34 seconds on glimmering, so you know what, I'm going to roll the dice on this one. So I'm going to leave passion open so that I can sort of contend with that. I do have the dread, so with luck we'll get some... Ooh, yeah, with luck we'll get contentment from painting, otherwise that's going to be a problem too. Yeah, my dream slot's actually got a few demands on it, so... I'm just going to leave everything open to see if I can combine this glimmering. If I can't, then I'm just going to read a book, and I'm going to have to be... I think I'm just going to wait and see what happens before I come up with a specific game plan. So, and I've got 3 minutes. So, out into the night, we escape unseen, but the next day there are reports of a fire at Strathcoyne. Did something knock a live coal onto the hearth rug, or did Strathcoyne destroy the place himself as part of some larger scheme? So, there's the notoriety we were talking about. We've got the Locksmith's Dreams, Stolen Reflections. We'll read the books, the details of the books as we read them. Traveling at Night, Volume 3, The Journal of Alessandro Lacrosse, The Wainscot Histories, and The Treatise on the Underplaces. So lots of books. At this point, let's explore with another occult. Wait a minute. Okay, so I can't sell off the Delightful Blood. That's already been taken care of. I definitely don't need to buy anything from Moorlands right now. Yes, we will explore with the occult scrap. I'm going to see what happens in about 7 seconds. All conviction, the world goes away. So we still have time for the glimmering, but not a lot. Passion's back. Exceptional work. This is something special. It may provoke a reaction. There we go. My recent work is considered significant. I may yet earn a living from this, but nothing is certain. So, of course, we have the mystique. We got the contentment, which is good. More glimmering, so as expected, unfortunately, it's still expired, so that's my bad, but we do have a replacement. So let's preserve that right now. Now, again, part of this is just a question of triage. Oh, and we have 2 funds, so we're actually up on the cash as well, and we don't have any staleness, so that was a good run overall. Let's go back to our day job. And then finally, because in 14 seconds we've got the Season of Despair, let's combine our Dread and Contentment. So for the next little passage, because we're more or less out of time now, the way we're going to handle the situation that we've come into is this. We've got 13.8 seconds before any kind of sickness affects us. That's to our advantage. Oh, you know what? I blew it. The Delightful Blood's gonna run out before the Savorous Blood. So in trying to get rid of the problems created by the Dread, I've actually created another Dread through the Delightful Blood and the Savorous Blood. That was a blunder, so let's take it on the chin. In from the night, our spy has returned to us. Alright, forlorn blood. I have a disease, my blood is wrong, my bones are sick, I'll die, but perhaps I can preserve myself long enough with the holy blood of our delight. So what I should have done was accepted the fascination that would have come from using the delightful blood and the forlorn blood. As it is, my dream slot has been taken up for 50 seconds. I don't think I can do anything to preserve the delightful blood. So you get to see what happens when I don't have any kind of a replacement for that. That's going to turn into Dread, which we don't, at the moment, have any correction for, although I have a few ways that I can get some contentment. But thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week, unless I've increased the cadence of the videos. We'll see you next week to solve the problems that I just made for myself. Have a good one.